Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out my first video, but hopefully be many, many more to come. My name is Robert, and I'm gonna use this as a chance to introduce myself and talk about the types of photography that I've done and what I'm gonna be going over in this channel. So let's go ahead and get down to it. I started off doing event photography and it was just parties with my friends and just going out around campus and different events and taking pictures of that. And that kind of evolved until where my friend who was doing photography, he was busy and couldn't do a shoot, and it was for a nighttime event, a club type of atmosphere, and they needed a photographer, so he shot them my way. And kind of the rest is history. That was my first paid gig. And at the time when you're 21 years old, getting some cash and a bar tab and just going on party buses and shooting these events was, for me, really appealing at the time. And looking back at it, probably not the best way to get started in photography, but I did learn a lot, and it was awesome, and it was cool getting consistent shoots. So I shot a whole lot of those type of events, a whole lot of nighttime events, parties, clubs, those types of things. And I don't really think I would ever go back to doing that kind of thing, but it was definitely fun, again, for a 21-year-old to be doing that kind of stuff. But that was really how I got my basis in photography, and that was great because I actually met somebody in the service industry who offered me a job. Well, I reached out to him about getting a job to kind of pay my way through college and help me out with that, and also to support my hobby, which I considered photography at the time to be more of a hobby. And that was really cool because he kind of told me, like, hey, I need you to learn how to make flyers. And at the time, I just started learning Photoshop, but as I was doing photography, and that was really cool for him to kind of offer me that opportunity. And I learned. I kind of just sat on the fly and started learning how to make flyers and making these graphic design things that I had no idea how to make, and learning as I was going. And it was cool to be kind of doing that, and also working in the service industry, which again, I'm very grateful for, because it allowed me to start focusing on different aspects of photography that I wanted to focus on, because I could do it more as a hobby and not as a way where I had to pay my bills, where, making that extra $100 or trying to get $100 or $50 here and there with photography. That's definitely a struggle, especially when you're getting started. So I'm very grateful for that, and that kind of evolved, and it was awesome, and I was able to turn that into different opportunities. So going forward from there, I started doing grad photos and grad photography, and that was really cool, again, because being in that network of going to school and being involved in different organizations, I was able to meet people, and social media was really helping me at the time, back before Instagram was really big, but Facebook was really popular back then. And so I was able to kind of market myself through Facebook. And I remember the first time I booked a grad photo, and I did it off of a couple of friends for free, helping them out. I was learning, and I was really proud of the way they came out, but I started getting people contacting me for photos. And that was when I first started to feel like a professional photographer. I was getting people asking me, and I remember just freaking out, like, I don't know, well, $100 sounds cool. And making that first $100 for a shoot back in the day, that was really cool and really felt like an achievement to me. And I think every photographer that makes that first $100, it's like, oh man, that's cool. I'm using a hobby and turning it into a way to make extra income. And again, I had already done all these events and stuff like that, so this is something more kind of unique and another skill to learn. And I still, to this day, love doing grad photos, and I still continue to do them, but it's also like more of a seasonal market. But that's definitely how my levels evolved. But tons of grad photos throughout the years, masters, and I think the reason I love grad photos so much is because of that connection you get with the person you're shooting with. And it's just a very, very excitable moment, enjoyable moment. If somebody's proud to be graduating, that's why they're booking somebody to take grad photos with them. And it's a very, very awesome feeling to be part of that achievement and part of that process. And I think going forward, that's kind of how I narrowed down the type of photography that I want to do. And I kind of realized, okay, I'm kind of appreciating this experience because I see how much you're appreciating it, and seeing those pictures and seeing them see their pictures. It's just such an awesome feeling, and that's part of the reasons why I fall in love with photography so much. I fall in love with it over and over again. Every time you see that face of somebody seeing their picture for the first time, and that enjoyment, that sense of wonder, like, oh my God, that's me. Like, thank you so much. You made me look so good. Well, that's actually how you look. Like, I just found the right angle and I found the right light, but that is how you look, and that is an awesome feeling. That was how I expanded into boudoir photography, and it was awesome, again, to be having a network of friends through the service industry and through through college friends and all that, and again Facebook, and having friends that wanted to model and practice with me and help me learn throughout the years, and so appreciative of that. But yeah, so I had my first, model shoot, so to say. I put an ad up on Craigslist and got involved with Model Mayhem, which again is an outdated source, I think, these days. But I found, a makeup artist and a model that wanted to work with. And I remember being so nervous for my first shoot and getting out there and just like looking back, I was so happy. I was so happy with these pictures, man. It was 10 years ago and so stoked on these pictures, and it was an awesome feeling. And she was so happy with them too. And we ended up working together a few more times. I was able to work in the studio with them, practice going out to Venice Beach and practicing out some different colors. And at the time, I thought those photos were really good. Looking back at it, they're okay. They're definitely okay. But that was an awesome way to kind of get involved with people and learn the strategies and how to meet people and how to work with people. And I kept doing that, putting up some Craigslist ads and finding people that way, and Model Mayhem, and booking people and just shooting for fun. And I definitely went through a big phase where I didn't like anything I was producing and shoot, versus like nowadays where I shoot a lot more pictures that I'm proud of. But going back then, I'm like, it's kind of harder to find pictures that I was really proud of. But at the time, I feel like that's every photographer's journey. You go through those kind of phases. But learning all that, I was able to shoot some talented people, do some swimsuit shoots, which I love doing, and I still do those to this day. I was able to book a wedding at one point. Horrible experience for me. Weddings are very stressful. It's not the type of atmosphere I like to be around. So I did one. I shot a couple of pictures for some friends at weddings, just like taking my camera around, and definitely just was like, hey, I'm not going to be hired for this. Definitely hire a professional wedding photographer. That is not my style. But I'll bring my camera on and maybe get a couple shots, not to invade. I'm trying to do my best to not invade the photographer's space, but definitely done that. But my first actual wedding shoot didn't go too well. Had a hard time delivering the images back in the day. Didn't have the tools that we have now, or at least I didn't know about them at the young age that I was at. But that was the first sense of disappointment I had with photography. Was pictures didn't come out the way I wanted them to, and it was such a mess. And I felt like I missed moments that I should have done. So definitely, number one pro tip I give to people out there for wedding photography is take the time and find a talented wedding photographer. I think those are very important moments. I think photography in general is very important, and I think capturing those memories and making those moments, and whether you remember who took your pictures or not, you're gonna have those pictures hopefully for the rest of your lives, and people, your kids and hopefully grandkids to come are gonna have those pictures of you, and the whole world's gonna have those pictures of you out there. So I think you gotta take that time to make sure that those moments are gonna last, and hire a professional photographer, in this case, a professional wedding photographer. But yeah, going from event photography to grad photos to model photography, boudoir, having friends that would help me out with risque pictures. Once you grow that trust with somebody and you kind of get to experiment and have fun, and different creative things like neon lights and fireworks, like those are definitely things that I've had fun with, and I'm gonna hope to continue having fun with. Why do I shoot the things that I shoot? I think it's that connection, that emotion. I think photography is a very important aspect of any type of event or special moment in your life. You need to take the time to find the right photographer and capture those moments, because whether or not you remember who the photographer was, which I hope you do, especially if I shot with you, but you're gonna have those moments and those memories forever. And I think that's what photography is capturing a moment, capturing something that's gonna inspire you and bring back a sense of joy and wonder. You're gonna look at those pictures, whether it's your wedding or grad photos, your boudoir sessions, and you see that picture and it brings you back. And that's what I love, and I love that. I love that moment, but also in the moment of taking the pictures, sharing that, looking back at the camera, and some photographers like to do that and give a sneak peek, some don't like to do that, but I do like showing a couple pictures here and there and getting that wonder, because that's a great feeling when you have somebody and they see themselves, holy crap, that's me. Or like, oh man, that's me. And that is why I love photography, is those moments of connecting with people and using that. And that's why I love grad photos, because you're celebrating with somebody, and the sense of joy, the sense of wonder, what's going to come next. That's a reason why I fell in love with grad photography, and also why I fell in love with boudoir photography, because I'm able to show people the beauty in them that I see, that the world sees, that they might not see in themselves. And I went through all these different things to learn what I want to do and the type of photography that I want to do. So that's where I ended up now, where I do a lot of boudoir photography, and that's my main focus and my main point of sales is boudoir photography. And so I do have a separate Instagram for that. And then I use my personal Instagram to kind of do landscapes and more creative shoots and things like that, because I do think you need to separate some. In my particular case, I think if you're going to be doing things like landscapes versus having models on there as well, and boudoir, you want to keep those things separate, because boudoir isn't model photography. That's more intimate and personable, and that's what I think of boudoir. It's something that it changes with who you're shooting, because you're finding that moment, you're finding the beauty, and that's what boudoir photography is. I think it deserves to have its own point of focus. But also, again, I'm using my personal Instagram to make you know, make different types of things, creative shoots, play with fireworks, play with lighting, play with neons, which I love. So that's what this channel's gonna be going over. We're gonna do a whole lot of stuff, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you kind of got to know me a little bit more, and I hope you'll get to know me and stick around a whole lot more as we start creating more content. And if there's anything you want to see, like I said, there's gonna be a lot of videos. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment, let me know, and I'll do my best to get out there and create some magic.